Good evening. Welcome to the Mancunian way. Hope you are well. Baz, sit up straight. See, there's always
Do
one.
you know what? You could have started that intro at half past and we would just be starting now.
Do you know how much hard work goes into this? Anyway, good evening to you all. We are back. Thursday Night Chat is back. The season is upon us, and I thought I'd get a bit of a really good panel out tonight. And I couldn't get anyone, so I brought this rabble out. Pat and Ozzy, you know, big shout out to Ozzy. It was literally at the other side of the world right now. Good evening, gentlemen. And I've stolen 3 black and white eyes tonight. Baz and Ian, both from over there. How are you boys?
I'm good, mate. Excellent. Thanks for the invite.
Baz,
I'm pissed off this guy hasn't come on my bloody his own channel. He's come on this one.
No. I was late, mate. There was no way on earth I was going to be on time for yours. And I couldn't even meet our good friend John tonight because I was just late for work. Things ran in, and it was just a time where... No, I couldn't meet John either. And I did say to Martin when he invited us, he turned around and says, I did say I was going out with John, and if I was managed to come back on time, I would gladly come on, which Martin will clarify. So this is why I've had time to come on, which I didn't want to say nothing to you because I wanted to see your reaction when I popped up in the box below. And the reaction was absolutely world class, to be fair.
And I did tell Ian, if you are too busy, don't worry about it. But then we secretly had a chat and said, let's piss Baz off. No, I'm only joking. And we've actually found one of the 2 most sensible Arsenal fans out in the world. Top guy, Dan Potts, football's 12th man. How are you, mate? Finally got you on.
Big up, man. Now, come on. Absolutely. Great to be on. You've been on my channel enough, so I've got to return a favor, bro. Absolutely. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to have a bit of a mix of a panel as well, man. Always like that. So big up, man. Cheers for having me, Martin.
Yeah, anytime, mate. Don't worry. I'm back. Potsy couldn't say no because I'm on his tomorrow night, so he couldn't really say no. We're going to start off Lee Gates straight out the chute with the £5. Thank you so much, mate. Looking forward to another great show. And your DM earlier was amazing. And you never need to thank us, mate. That's what we're here for. So really big up yourself. MCFC again with another super chat. Good evening, Martin. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the content. You've been killing it. And thank you for the information you give us every stream. And am I being too optimistic by saying we get Eze and Bruno? Baz, Ian, not a word. There's no need for that.
You said not a word.
And then Lee Gates has come in. Pat, close your ears and your eyes. Has gifted 10 memberships, which is outstanding. So you know what that means?
More than you believe. More than you believe, I'm happy.
And I do want to thank Sir Pep Guardiola for doing the voiceover for that. I'm doing it for free as well. It's amazing. Good evening to everyone in the chat. Sorry, I have to get all the donkey work out of the way, but this is an amazing prize. Football prizes. Don't forget. Now, this is a little bit more expensive, less tickets, but what are the chances of winning 2 hospitality tickets to Manchester City versus Ipswich Town plus 2-star instant wins? They are £9.95 each, but it is a mega prize, this one. Manchester City fans in with a chance to win a hospitality experience for 2 to watch the champions take on Ipswich Town from just £9.95. Includes incredible prize of off-site hospitality, drink on arrival, a 3-course buffet plus 2-star instant wins, including a signed photograph from the legend that is Joe Hart and 1 times golden key into our August giveaway. So there you go. Get over to Football Prizes website, say where you heard it from, and get in. There are only 65 tickets left, probably less by now. Yeah, so get over there. Big up.
Can I apply for it? Can I apply for it?
Yeah, if you want. Thought
UK
you had
only, innit?
Yeah, because
UK
I'll be
only,
there.
I think.
Yeah, because I'll be there.
Right, you can't go. No, you can't go in the hospitality. Unless you paid for it.
I think it's UK only though. You have to have a UK account.
They know
it's UK only. Sorry, I have
think it
found
is.
out that it is UK only. Some people have asked me. It is UK only.
There's no reason
Yeah,
why
we
Pat, you can't
asked that
transfer
last
somebody
week.
to
Yeah,
Martin
shake
and
my
Martin
head.
can buy the tickets for you. So there you go.
Yeah, just transfer it to me. If you're coming over, transfer it to me and I'll do it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Like I said, I may even buy. I'm going to speak to him anyway as well. But yeah, big up to everyone. We're here. The season is here. The summer is over. No more Euros. No more friendlies. It's here. The season begins. City going for the 5p. Arsenal going for the second runners-up spot for the 3rd year in a row. And Newcastle going
Top
3rd,
six.
4th, 5th. What, top 6? Top 6?
Top six.
So, yeah, we'll get it all. We're going to start off with, we're going to go round. Pat,
Cool.
how are you feeling ahead of the new season? While I throw up the comments to everyone.
Optimistic as ever, but at the same time also willing to take a step back and just see what whether our mainstays and our squad are still up for trying to go for taking history and making more of it, basically, if there's, for lack of a better term. But look, I think we shared the same sort of emotions about it, Martin. We were talking about in Orlando where I got my feet up almost in a way about this season, just seeing how we go, seeing where things go, and if another team is able to finally knock us off our throne, and that regardless of everything that's happening right now outside of football, anybody's able to knock us off our throne, then fair play to them. I mean, of course, we're going to make it a challenge, but I'm confident, and I'm also just really, really relaxed and feeling really positive about the season. I just hope it's competitive, but at the same time too, I do want us to perform well, play well, and yeah, it's just a combination of just positivity and optimism just towards not just City, but hopefully for quite an entertaining season from all 20 clubs.
Good evening, Alpha. Baz, from the Newcastle side, obviously. How are you feeling?
Excited. Football's back. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter where we finish, what we do. I'm excited to watch some football again. Not watch that boring Euros, watching that stale England team. We're actually going to watch some exciting football again. When it comes to us, God knows what's going to happen. If we can stay injury-free, I think we'll be top 5, to be honest with you. But we need to stay injury-free. We need the transfer window to slam shut, and for you guys to stay away from Bruno and Gordon, please. Keep our star. We keep our star players, which the word does seem to be we are going to be keeping our star players. Gear's agent was at Newcastle all day today. Now he's not just Gear's agent; he's also Gordon's agent as well, and we're also trying to tie him down to a new contract. So the noises are good. And I think we're going to surprise a lot of teams because we don't have to worry about Europe. And we'll be playing 1 game a week, and that really does fall to our advantage with our high press, high intensity football. So it's going to be very interesting to watch. A lot of top pundits have ruled Newcastle completely out, saying we're going to finish 8th, 9th. That's a bad idea. You keep saying that and we'll prove he's wrong again.
I will do transfers towards the end. I know people want to talk about Debo Mbemba. He is a youngster from West Ham. He will be going out on loan. He's not coming in to play first team. So I'll go through that later on. And I know people want to talk about Calvin and Ipswich, etc. Dan, have you spent your 300 million that was predicted?
300 million?
You know, everyone's had, for some reason, 300 million is the magic number. Every team's got 300 million this summer to whack round. I don't know where it all came from.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone seems to get the same budget today. It's crazy. Do you know what? I actually don't think we've done anything anywhere near enough, man. I'm disappointed with our window. I think Calafiori is a good signing. Trust me. I do think he's going to come in and do what I think is needed on our left-hand side, but I think he's one part of what's needed. I think Marino, when it does get done, which I think it will eventually, we just take forever to get any deals done, it seems, at Arsenal. I think that left-hand side, which was last season a little bit of a mixed match, sometimes left back it was Zinchenko, other times it was Tomiyasu, other times it was Timber who got injured, then it was Kivior. In the left 8, we had kind of Havertz who started there. That didn't work. Declan Rice was good there, but didn't always play there. Had to be relied upon in the 6 quite a lot. So that left Fabio Vieira or Trossard or Smith Rowe to play there. So I can understand why we're looking at a left back and a left 8. I think that's fair. We need a striker, man. We need a striker. In my opinion, we need someone up top. Listen, the guys aren't going to like me saying this. I'd absolutely love Alexander Isak at Arsenal, but I can't see that happening. I feel like there's other options out there, though. I do. Ivan Toney, Victor Gyökeres, Victor Osimhen are all names that I think upgrade on Eddie Nketiah, Kai Havertz, and Gabriel Jesus, if I'm honest, in front of goal. So for me, I think that's what Arsenal might be lacking as a killer. I understand that we scored 91 goals last season. I get it. But we did still miss chances, and we do not have that killer in the box, in my opinion. I think that's what we might need. I look around, and at the moment, I don't really see what everyone else is doing, if I'm honest. It's a very, very poor transfer window. And most of the time, it sounds hypocritical. So I used to say I don't care what everyone else is doing. But if I'm honest with you, it's pretty dead. It really is. And I do not see where the talent pool has gone, if I'm honest with you. Because number 9s, it used to be brilliant to go and have a look at what number 9s we got. But my goodness, there isn't many in the world of football right now. But they are out there that are better than Eddie Nketiah, trust me. So for me, that's what Arsenal have still got to go and do. I still have City winning the league, if I'm honest, at the moment, because I don't think Arsenal have done enough to catch up. And I know you've lost Alvarez and Oscar Bob looks to be out now, but Pep will get it right. He'll probably play Doku up front or something, and he'll ball it out or something. That's what he does, Pep. So I've got no idea what you will do without the striker unless you do go and replace one for Julian Alvarez. But at the moment, I still have City as favourites, man, and I need to see more from Arsenal. But that could change in the coming weeks, and I hope it does.
Well, speaking of transfer window, Oz,
really quick, Martin, on what he said about there not being many transfers around. Isn't it pretty obvious it's not to do with the talent that's out there? It's to do with PSR and not being able to spend and being worried about being fined and worried about having points deductions and all this sort of stuff. We've got money. Villa have got money. Brighton have got money. But nobody's allowed to spend it because PSR stops clubs from spending and strengthening because it's the top 6.
Yeah.
But do you know what, though, Baz? Just quickly on that. PSR, for me, I think what it has done, it has allowed Manchester City to have a huge advantage on everybody else because they've got their squad, man. So everybody now...
I disagree with that. I disagree with that because PSR is do you know how far back it goes? Look at Manchester United when they won all their titles in a row. What did they have? Money. They bought the best striker nearly every year. Andy Cole, Dwight York, Terry Sheringham, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Then they nicked Robin Perez for one season. Van Persie, sorry. Won the league. They bought the league every single year, Man United did. Man City, yes, they've been able to do what they've been able to do. But PSR has now come in at a point where it shut the shop with Chelsea, Man City, Man United, Arsenal to an extent, to be able to carry on because of the massive sponsorships they've got. to be able to spend more than everybody else below them, and that is
you
the
agree?
issue.
You agree with what I'm saying then? Not you don't disagree with what I'm saying.
But it's not just I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is it goes further back than just Man City. It goes right back to the Man United days when they had all the money.
Obviously, the reason I'm bringing up Man City is because they're the ones at the moment, right? So obviously, Manchester City at the moment have got the advantage. They've got their squad. They've built it. Yeah, they might add 1 or 2 players, but Newcastle. I happen to think you'll have a very good season. And I've actually put you in my predictions. I've put you at top 4, which everyone went mental at when I said it. But I actually think you will get Champions League, right?
Well, don't jump your head. We're coming to that.
We're doing that later. Are we? Sorry. But for me, I feel personally like Manchester City have got their squad. Everybody's trying to catch them up, and PSR is now not going to allow Villa's, Newcastle, Spurs, Arsenal's, Chelsea's, etc. to go and do that. Now, with Arsenal and Chelsea, excuse me, it's a little bit different because we go spend money. We spend a lot of money, by the way, a lot of money. Newcastle have got that money there. They can't spend it because of PSR. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Hang on, well, he's one.
That's what I mean about PSR. PSR is allowing the teams above us, the top 6, even Spurs, if they wanted to go out and spend money because they've already closed the shop on the teams below us. Chelsea have spent ridiculous amounts of money. I don't know what the hell is going on with that. But you know this. What was it? The partnership thing that they stopped. We wanted to bring Amrico in as a sponsor, but because it's owned by Saudi Arabia, they said that you can't inflate it like Man City have done in the past with theirs. That is where the issue Newcastle fans
allegedly. Whoa, allegedly.
Oh, come on! You know it was inflated.
No, don't.
But there's nothing. There was no rules then. You were allowed to do it. There was no rules. As soon as Newcastle got took over, they then sort of had a meeting and went, "Hold on a minute, they're going to get a shitload of money here. Let's put a new rule in place to stop Newcastle from being able to have this same ownership sponsorship like other clubs have got, and let's just close that shop. Let's close that loophole." And they've tried to do it to Chelsea with the contracts, haven't they? They knocked it down to 5 years instead of 7 and 8 years with the omission and all that sort of stuff. So, but PSR has ruined football. It's ruined Sky Sports' January window. Look at the January window just gone. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Just 3 years ago, we used to have this yellow bar going along the bottom, almost spent £1 billion. It's now, we're lucky if we're getting near 50 million. It's been that bad. Yeah. And PSR is just, for me, it's ruined the competition. And it's just made it difficult for anyone to be able to compete with the likes of City, Arsenal, Man United. And Man United just keep shooting themselves in the foot because they're crap. They can still spend money, but we can't. And Brighton can't.
Yeah.
Sorry for the rant, but there you go.
Right, mate. We'll come back. I mean, people are asking, you do want to get your thoughts on that later on about the 115. Oh, sorry, 130 now.
Is it 130 now?
Up to 150 by tomorrow, don't worry. Also, obviously, speaking about the market, we've not really done the market yet. Apparently, we are going to start dipping our toes into this market in the next 2 weeks. But what are your, obviously, how do you feel about the season being back?
Yeah, I'm kind of very much in the same camp as Pat, really. The last few years have just been amazing success for City. You couldn't dream of what we've done happening in such a short space of time. So to kind of, I feel a little bit more relaxed this season. You know, I think Pat's right. You know, we've got a few senior players that could be their last year. Have they got the emphasis to move on and move up another gear to do a 5-peat? I mean, that would just be ridiculous. We said that about the 4-peat, but it just seems like, is it a step too far? But yeah, I mean, I'm quite optimistic still that I think we are. You know, you don't like to be too big-headed, but I do think we are the favourites. I kind of agree with kind of the Arsenal position where I think Arsenal haven't done enough in the transfer market. And for me, it does mean I do think they need a top goal scorer. Who that is, you know, that's a decision for Arsenal to make, really. But I do think if they were to add a top quality, you know, 20 goal a season striker, I would be a little bit more concerned about Arsenal. And then the rest of the league, it just seems like we don't know what we're going to get with Liverpool. With a new manager, you know, it's difficult to know whether, you know, sometimes, yes, you do get that new manager bounce, but they haven't brought anybody in. and they've lost out on, is it 3 players now that they've not been able to get through the door? And then you look at Chelsea. Chelsea are just a basket case of a club at the moment. I have no idea what's going on with them. I don't think they'll make top 4, if I'm honest, let alone top 5, 6. And yeah, it's going to be a really interesting season because I just think it's apart from City and Arsenal, I think the rest of the league, it's difficult to predict because for me, I think Newcastle are a bit of a dark horse. I think they could get into top 4, if I'm honest, because they've not got Europe. They've got a manager who's been there, who's brought in some talent. He's kept some talent. So for me, they're a stable club right now. If they keep all their top flight players. United, I'll be surprised if Ten Hag's there at the end of the season, let alone by Christmas, if I'm honest. And again, they've brought in some all right players, but really and truly, do I see him being able to get the best out of that squad? No. So, yeah, I think at the moment City are the team to beat, and I'm not seeing enough from anybody to really challenge us for that top spot. I think it's more, have we got the emphasis to go on and win it more than anything else?
I will come to Devon Mwamba in a bit. I promise I will get there. Ian, how are you feeling about the season?
You know me, mate, that I don't get ahead of myself, and Baz knows exactly the same. I go through the season in stages. What I go across. I don't like to look across. It's like the whole, and to go, yeah, we're going to do fantastic because Newcastle United can be an absolute roller coaster, like we have been last season with injuries, etc., etc. My worry is still these next 2 weeks. I'm still fearful of a big player to leave this football club. Simply, I don't think it'll be Alexander Isak. I really don't, because I think if to go down them lines to replace him, there's not many centre forwards in the world that's better than him to be replaced. And I don't think
saying Bruno's leaving with that.
That's my worry. That is my worry of that man leaving this football club. Now, for the money he's going to go for, if he does go, we can replace Bruno. Isak can't be replaced. But that's the thing. We'd have to sign a player of Haaland's stature to be as good as Alexander Isak, in my opinion. And I don't think there's many centre forwards out there, and we've felt dead lucky. But the start we've had in the transfer window so far has been a little bit frustrating because everybody wants these big signings, but obviously we know we can't do that. Lengthy conversations with Martin and other people. People's got to realise that we've been stuck in our hands, being dealt with this obviously horrible PSI issues. So we've got to go through deals in the right way. I don't think it's going to be an easy ride, what people think, just because we're playing one game a season. I've had this conversation with Baz. I don't think that just because we play that one game a season that we're automatically going to be up there at the top of the league, because other teams are strengthened around us, and we've been felt a little bit behind. One of the plus things for me is Tonali coming back. I can't wait to see that guy play again. And obviously Joe Linton being fit again, massive for us. But realistically, if we're finishing in Europe, that'll do me absolutely fantastic this season. I'm not saying Champions League. I think Europe will do us brilliantly. But fingers crossed we keep a hold of our superstars leading into January, because that'll be massive for us. I'm not so sure. I've had me nail biting things on from the beginning of that horrible release clause, and Martin digging at us every other week, trying to tell us that things are bubbling on, and I've had sleepless nights.
No, all I said, hang on, because I've had this all somewhere at the net. One thing I ever regret was saying 98% when someone said to me, Bruno going to happen. I bloody hate doing that. But the simple fact is,
Deal with it.
I've always said, and I've always said it, City were never going to touch the release clause. I said, if City go after Bruno, it'll be at the end of the window. Because what City are doing is sat back and I think a lot of teams are doing this at the minute. I think teams are sitting back across the whole Premier League and they're waiting. They're waiting to see who wants deals done by the end. Because this is the thing with PSR. It doesn't just people look at it as June the 30th and that's it. Cut off, we start again. Because for start off, 99% of football fans don't understand the PSR situation. And for some reason, they think 3-year reset and we go again. No, it's if teams want money to spend in January, they may have to sell at the end of this window to have the finances available. It depends where you are in your minus 105 sort of loss, and also it also depends because some clubs will gamble more than others. I've always used Everton as the example. Everton spent 500 million on the gamble to finish 6th. They finished 16th. Gamble failed, meaning they had a go. They gambled, it failed. What you're seeing at the minute is many teams don't want to gamble anymore. The gamble element has disappeared because what they've now realised is if one charges a 10-point deduction, as some got, I know some appealed it, they don't want to go silly. They don't want to jeopardise the money they lose out the Premier League. And sadly, the rules that idiot Richard Masters has done has hand-tied everyone. And then what happens is when there's no money slushing around, the domino effect can't kick in. Because if they don't have the money, then no one else can get going, and so on and so on. But
you know the frustration thing with PSR is, and the simple fact is, how long has it been around for now? It's been around quite a while, hasn't it? It's always been 105 million loss, hasn't it? Yeah, but it's been 105 million loss, right? Let's just say for the last 3 years. The rate of inflation has gone up by how much each year? But the 105 million loss has not moved. They've kept the same bracket, even though players and wages have got more expensive because of the rate of inflation, which is stupid because that is then hampering clubs even more because you're not moving your goalposts, but everyone else is moving their goalposts.
Yeah.
It's crap.
It's madness. It really is. Right. Let's get into it. And then, because I know everyone's asking me, the Chelsea preview's coming tomorrow. So I'm trying to let's calm on the predictions that will come.
Try and name every single player in Chelsea in an hour show.
That's a 3-hour show right there.
Someone's going to ask me what's the Chelsea lineup. I haven't got a clue anymore because I don't know.
Whoever can name it wins the August prize.
Do you know, I feel sorry for whoever's got to do the team sheet on the back of the program, Chelsea.
Hey, never mind that, Martin. Where are they going to find a big enough team bus?
Not even 2
buses.
One with a trailer off the back or something, yeah.
Put you on 2 buses. I don't know what they're going to do.
They'll just have a jumbo jet with no wings.
You could probably borrow ours because we've got no plays at the moment. Everyone's gone. Just about filling a bed. No. 5 of them are youngsters.
Yeah.
Don't forget, though, we're off to League One, so everyone's jumping ship now. That's what I'm hearing everywhere. Anyway, right, let's start with the big one. Champions. Pat, who are you having as the champs? Now, we're doing this as now. I know people are going to say, but in 2 weeks, we don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks and who's going to sign. So let's not guesswork. Do it as squads are now.
Champions in May, Manchester City. And hopefully for the first time in this, since the Sheikh Mansour takeover, we can actually see City clinch a league title at home with games to spare. Because it's never happened before. Now, Bazzi, and what I'm trying to explain here is every time City have won a league title, it's either been on the final day in a must-win situation, or it's been like we've won by a comfortable amount, but we've won without kicking a ball, meaning that whoever came second lost the game, which made it mathematically possible. So it'd be nice to see us actually clinch a league title at home with games to spare. So that, for me, that's my perfect world prediction.
Second,
I'm going to stick with Arsenal. I think they'll still be there again. I think if they can show that they can get to 90 points again, that will be a threat. But yeah, Arsenal second. If they don't catch us, it'll be a comfortable second.
And who's third, fourth?
Third and fourth. I'm gonna go all out a little bit on this one and say, no, you know what? I was going to say no particular order, but I'm going to say third Aston Villa.
Ooh.
Fourth Newcastle.
Wow.
Because I think
wow, whoa. So Liverpool, Chelsea.
I think some of the additions that Aston Villa have made with that quality of manager and with the momentum that they've got from the fourth that they got last season, I think they can go a step further. I think out of all the clubs, they're probably one of the top clubs that have really progressed forward in the transfer market this summer. Despite everything going on with PSR, I think they've been quite sensible with their movements. While a lot of other top six clubs have been going almost backwards in a way, to the point of where, like Martin used to say, if you stand still, you go backwards. And Aston Villa haven't been doing that. Newcastle, if they hold on to their players, and if they can, just a couple of small little additions like Mark Gahey, I think is going to be very sensible for you in terms of your centre back depth as well. And maybe if you can get one more player in there in the door, maybe in midfield or something, just to bolster your ranks a little bit, I think that'll help. I think not being tied down with European football as well is going to help you. You can put all your eggs in your Premier League basket for the full 38 games and just go hell for leather. And if it goes that well and you don't get anywhere near as many injuries as you had last season, I think you'll be there for the Champions League spots.
Well said.
Right, mate.
Sensible Man City fan. I'm surprised.
Yeah. There we go.
And an Aussie as well, which makes it even more surprising.
Well, it's an Aussie in New York, so I haven't got bad influences around me right now.
That's why he doesn't know much about football. Anyway, Baz, champions.
Right. So I think Spurs will be champions in November again, celebrating like they've won the league, and then they'll blow it. Arsenal will be celebrating in January again, thinking they've won the league, and then they'll blow it. And I think Man City will win it.
So this is why I bring people on. They're very sensible.
Sorry, Potts.
They're very sensible.
I'd love to say.
You know it happens. You know it happens.
Love to say you're talking rubbish, but I can't, bro. So that's why I kept quiet.
Can I just add another thing too with Aston Villa was the other reason why I think Aston Villa will have a really good season, or another really good season this time, is because for the first time in a long time, Aston Villa is one of those teams that weren't necessarily top 4 or top 6. You remember we all said, I think Martin, Aussie, I think even Rich said this as well for our prediction for last season. We said with Aston Villa, we said they will be one of the teams to watch. And for the first time in a long time, they're a team outside of the established top 4, top 6 that actually lived up to predictions and what we anticipated them to be. So I think Aston Villa, I think they're on this upward trajectory right now where they're just going to continue to be gradually improve. Whether they ever become a chance of threatening for a title, I don't know. Remains to be seen. But they're just doing smart, sensible business at the moment. And I think what we're going to see now is we're going to see a similar thing to, remember what I said at the end of last season. I said when we lost to Villa back in December, I said any team in Europe would have lost to Villa on those days. Dan, you would have remembered too, because 3 days later, Arsenal played at Villa Park and lost as well. I said, based on form, Aston Villa were the best team in Europe at that particular time. Aston Villa, for all we know, they may have another period. It may not be the same time of the year, but they may have another extended period for a couple of months where they may be the best team in Europe as well. So they can catch fire at any given moment, and it just remains to be seen what they can do. I do see a lot of good things happening for their club this season.
Okay.
You think there was a Villa fan on the podcast, wouldn't you?
Hey, we're coming to. I was going to do these. City Luke, thank you, mate, for your super chat. You 199. Really, please get over to City Luke TV. Top lad. I'm on there tomorrow as well. Get over there. Really, really nice guy as well. Conway, thank you for the 15th month for your membership. 15 months ages, but thank you. And just for Pat.
More than you believe. More than you believe I have you.
Carry on.
All right, calm down. Bloody hell. Right, carry on then, Baz. So you're at second.
Second, Arsenal.
Sorry, Dan.
If they can get a striker, like everyone's pointed out, they could challenge you this year. I've predicted them to push. How many times did I say to you, Martin, that Arsenal were going to push you all the way last season, and they did, and you just laughed it off. What was quite funny. But the fixtures that they had last season at the start, they just got the momentum and carried it on, and I think the momentum's with them again. But they need a 20, 25 goal striker, and they don't have that, which is why they'll finish second. Third, Liverpool. I am worried about Liverpool. Some of their preseason games, they've looked quite good.
Even though they've signed no one?
Even though they've signed no one, they've still got a lot of talent there. I think it's Salah's last season there. He looks fit. I think he looked off the boil last season. And there was a lot of pressure on trying to do it for Klopp, wasn't it? And it didn't really work out. So I think they'll be dangerous, and I think they'll finish third. And I think we'll finish fourth. I really do. I think Chelsea are just a mixed bag. Man United. The football's terrible. They just scrape through games at times, and I just don't see them doing it this season. Don't think they'll get away with it. Spurs could threaten us. I think they'll finish fifth. I think Villa are going to finish sixth or seventh. I think because of Champions League football, they'll struggle like we did last season. That pressure of playing Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, I think it'll catch up with them.
Okay.
I get what you're saying, Baz, but I think they also they had the same issues with the conference like last season too, and they still managed to get to the semi-finals of that competition.
Yeah, but if you think about the quality of teams that you play in the Conference League to the quality you play in the Champions League, you're more up for the Champions League. You're going to be playing your better players in the Champions League, not in the Conference League. You're allowed to blood young players through and squad players because the teams you're playing against are nowhere near the quality. You know, think of the group we were in, AC Milan, Paris Saint-Germain and Dortmund, the group of death, you know, and that really cost us because we put everything into those games. And then when we come to the weekend, we struggled because we were knackered. Yeah. And I think if Villa get a hard group, they are going to want to make a stamp on the Champions League. They're going to want to enjoy it. And all the top players are going to want to play on the Tuesday night and the Saturday or the Wednesday and the Sunday. And I just think it'll catch up with them a little bit.
I suppose this new format's going to make things different as well too. And I'll probably run this by Dan as well. Is, you know, you see that how much the format's changed this season because you now got 2 extra fixtures that are played at the end of January. And that's just the group stages. If Arsenal get the results that they need and City get the results that they need, you know, you got 2 fixtures there in January that could turn out to be just complete dead rubbers. You could have the group locked up before Christmas, and you still got 2 more of these matches to play. So again, these matches can be important for you know, not just for momentum but also for player rotation and player fitness. So remains to be seen just what happens because this Champions League could change things a lot as well.
Potentially.
So who have you got fourth then? Who's you? Is it yourselves? You say yourself?
Yeah. Newcastle fourth.
Okay. Intriguing. Dan, come on. Give hope to the Arsenal fans out there. Give the hope that you're squeaking in and getting it.
Smoke that cigar.
I'd love to, man. I'd absolutely love to. I'd love nothing more.
Robbie will go mad if you don't say Arsenal. Robbie, don't say it. Ty's going to go mad at you if you don't do it, Dan. You got to do
Ty
it,
will, Robbie will, Julian will. They'll have a go at me. They have a go at me everywhere. Well, they never go at me every week anyway for being negative, apparently. So we might continue it,
Dan on the show. He's always the negative one. No, he's the most sensible one.
Always negative ones. Toxic and negative, man. That's what they call it. Apparently, wanting to win is toxic and negative. Anyway, who do I think is going to win? I think Man City will win the league. I've seen nothing at the moment.
Shocked by all this positivity.
I know. I've seen nothing at the moment to suggest that they won't win it again. I've gone for Arsenal in second, and then I see a bit of a gap, if I'm honest, from everybody else. Predicting third from 10th is probably one of the hardest things to do. this season. I literally do not have a clue, but I'll go for it anyway. I think Liverpool have got too many good players not to come third still. Because although I don't think they've strengthened, they've not got closer to Arsenal or City, but I don't think anybody's got closer to them really from what I've seen. Maybe Aston Villa, but Champions League is going to come into that in my opinion. So I've gone for Liverpool to come third and I've gone for Newcastle fourth. I kind of hinted at that earlier. I think one game a week with Alexander Isak, Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon, a trio of Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes and Joe Linton all back. Mark Guehi signing alongside Sven Botman.
Hang on, I said without signings, you put Bruno still there. Gay signed.
Yeah, but I think Bruno will stay now. Surely he's going to stay now.
He's not going anywhere. Trust me, he's not.
If Newcastle leave, let him go. Then I'll change my mind. But I do feel like Newcastle one game a week. We saw what they were like, man. And I feel like those last season that were saying Newcastle were now rubbish and can't hack it, they had about 8 players to pick from at one stage. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, I think Newcastle are disrespected and people are sleeping on them. And I'm not saying that because we've got 2 Newcastle fans on. You go check out on my channel. I got absolutely rinsed for it on a Wednesday night. Last night it was, in fact. I had literally West Ham fan coming for me, Villa fan coming for me, Spurs fan coming for me. What is all this about? And I was like, look, I really do not give a damn who comes fourth. Trust me, I'm just giving my prediction. Yeah. I think Newcastle one game a week. That's what I believe. I think Newcastle will get fourth. And then Villa in fifth. And then I think I don't really care about the rest. As long as it ain't Spurs up there, I couldn't give a damn, really. So, that's the way I see it, Martin. I think Andrew's got one way of playing. I think that'll be found out. Manchester United have got a bald fraud in charge, so they won't get anywhere. And Chelsea have got about 47 players, that I don't know what they're doing as a club. I mean, that is an absolute circus, that is, man. Chelsea. I mean, if you hire a bunch of clowns, expect a circus, and that's what they've got at Chelsea, bro. Honestly, they are an absolute mess. The Chelsea fans are just deluded. They're all telling me it's going to be fine, and you wait till we get X, Y, and Z in the door. I don't know what this Maresca's brother's going to be like, but let's wait and see. And yeah, maybe West Ham can shock, but let's be real. They've got an all right 11, but they've got to see enough from the Lopetegui yet to see anything more from them. So I think that's where I'm at, really, mate. So my top 4 is the same as Glasgow.
For West Ham, they've really got a gel, haven't they? That's the problem. There's a lot of new signings. Same as Brighton, but they do seem to do very well in their recruitment, but they've got a gel quickly for them to really push that top 5.
I agree with you in part, Dan, where it's like, I don't want Spurs to do well, but I want Ange to do well for obvious reasons. That's about it.
No, I get that. I understand that, man. Yeah. But I can't agree with that because of obviously who I support. But look, Tottenham have got a good first 11. They got to strengthen their depth, in my opinion. And Ange Postecoglou's got to find a way to play. There isn't this high line that you can just easily get behind, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Title some games.
Yeah. See the thing is though, when you were talking about Newcastle finishing well the other day, and then you were getting rinsed off Arsenal fans, a different thing. And all you would have to say is, "Oh, what about Joe Willock?" And then it would have changed completely because just because Joe Willock plays for us, you'll go. Ty was a great example of going. Newcastle's absolutely terrible. Don't even speak about it. Oh, but Joe Willock's good. Big up to Joe Willock. I'm thinking, come
100%, man. 100%.
Give us a little bit of respect. Come on, man.
I think what it is the big thing is on my channel, I do all football fans, so all football content. And I think they were so hurt that I didn't have Spurs above Newcastle and that I didn't put West Ham above Newcastle and that I didn't put Chelsea above Newcastle. They're all going. It was a This Is London show. So obviously I had all the London clubs on and I'm sitting there thinking, wow, these are so hurt that I don't believe West Ham are going to get 4th. And I don't think Chelsea are going to get 4th. Look at the state of Chelsea. Like West Ham, they've never finished above in the Champions League, man. So I don't understand how it was a wild shout, in my opinion. We don't know what we're going to get. We have no idea what we're going to get from Liverpool. We have no idea what's going to happen with Spurs. There's so many question marks still. So for me, I've seen Newcastle play well with the team they've got. I've seen Newcastle get Champions League. So why would I not think they can do it again? I just didn't really see it as a wild take personally, but apparently it is. It's horrendous. No chance. 7th or 8th, boys. 7th or 8th is where you're expected.
Someone got us down 9th and
Let them do it,
10th.
man.
It's like,
Let them do
Jesus.
it 7th. Do you know what though? Like, boys, real talk. Let them say you'll come 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th.
yeah.
Just do it. No pressure then, is there? So when you
I've
do
got
get
no
5th
six,
or 6th,
but hey,
then,
ho,
well,
I'm going to get murdered for that. But hang on.
I think, as I
when
said,
I
top 6
said
when
on
the show
yours-
started. Top 5,
No.
I'd be happy with. I just think
Well, I
we've got to
said
finish
5th or
fourth, though.
6th, yeah, because I think I said 5th or 6th on yours, boss.
Mm.
The new, Oz there, top 4, because I'm going to shock you all with mine.
I might land a bit of a shocker myself, mine. So I am obviously
Arsenal winning the title.
I still point. I think if Arsenal can do a business and get a striker in, I would be more nervous. Honestly, I think it would be neck and neck then between Arsenal and City. But the moment, the way things are, I am putting City winning the title yet again and getting that 5th in a row. My second prediction, again, Arsenal. I think they're going to be clinging at our heels most of the season. I just can't see beyond City and Arsenal right now.
Let's see if you've got the surprise I've got.
Well, So I mean, for me, those are the two. I think you can guarantee the top 4 right now because I think the rest of the league is just. Yeah, I do. I think
you can guarantee honestly, the top 4. Guarantee it.
No, I can guarantee the top 2 is what I'm saying.
Oh, top 2. I thought you said top 4.
No. Top 2, you can guarantee that it's going to be City and Arsenal fighting it out. And then for me, third, again, I'm going to probably surprise a few people, but I am going to pick Spurs.
No, we haven't got the same surprise.
I just think
I was quite growing to like you.
May have learned.
It's quite growing to like you, and now, you've gone down in my estimations. Now, do you know what I mean? First time I meet you, I thought this is a good guy, man. Now I'm thinking,
I'm not putting him above
why
you.
Spurs? Why Spurs though? They haven't actually got a striker, have they? I mean,
Yeah,
Son is
they've got
Solanke.
They got Solanke now from
Solanke through the door.
So I'll repeat myself. They haven't actually got a striker.
Let's go back 3 months. Who were you getting linked with? Ian? Come on.
Did we want him?
Well,
no. Did we say he was good enough? No.
No, you didn't want him. Eddie Howe did.
I didn't want him. No way did we want him.
It was just a link, and it was a poor link.
There you go, Martin. This is your second episode of Names versus Profiles.
No, you got Spurs going. You say Spurs third, and why do you think Spurs?
I just think Spurs. I actually think because the other top 6 teams, like I said earlier on, like Chelsea, a complete basket case. No idea what we're going to get. United the same. They're a complete mess. So it's difficult to see them getting the top 4 because I think they'll set the manager by Christmas, and then it's someone new coming through the door, and then it's just And I just think I'm kind of leaning where Pat comes along with this because I think Ange's a good manager. I think he's had to learn some big kind of mistakes over the last couple of seasons with playing such a high line, but I think he may have learned. I've just got this sneaking suspicion, with having more of a stable manager in place, with having some, decent players at Spurs. I just think it's an unknown quantity with the rest of the league, and that's why I think Spurs could just get into that 3rd spot. And then my 4th pick is, again, Newcastle. Again, because I think with having a stable manager, having a stable squad, if they're able to keep, their top players, I think they could, with the rest of the league, I just feel that it could be a really interesting, unique season where the big, the other big clubs that are not City and Arsenal, I just think other teams could take advantage. And that's why I think Spurs and Newcastle could take advantage because they've got decent managers, decent squads at the moment. And I just feel that you could take advantage and get into those spots.
I'm warming to you now.
Ian?
Mm-hmm.
Go on. Shut up.
Right,
Someone's known to tell me that.
Go on, Ian. Say Arsenal, Ian. Go on, Ian. Say Arsenal. There you go.
Our squad is now, as like Martin was saying, what happens if Haaland goes down, right, and injured? Where are you going to get your goals from? That's my point of it. So as squads now, I think it'd be so close, mind, because I think it's lose that focal point. Obviously, with Haaland, Man City, I think's got a little bit more fire. Arsenal's got a little bit more firepower in front of goal. I know they struggle a bit times, but you've lost Alvarez now, who comes up with your goals. So as squads now, I think it'd be really close. As squads now, I'm going to go Arsenal.
Go on, Ian. Love you, Ian.
And it's simply because to lose a player like Alvarez that can be relied on when Haaland was out, you've got to have something in place, Martin. You cannot let a pivotal player go like that without having something in place. And that's who he brings in, I don't know, but there'll be somebody absolutely special, I think, will come in. I really do. So I think, obviously, at this present time, City will finish runners up. And I think I think Liverpool won't be far away again, and Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa's had a very cute window. I really do. I think they've spent well.
Which way round do you want me to do that, Ian? Liverpool or Villa?
Liverpool third, Villa fourth.
Right.
Yeah, and Baz, I know you stick your thumbs down there. I just don't. I don't think we're quite ready again to do that. I really don't. That's
banned.
I'm not banned.
You're banned.
You know, I'm not just going to jump on the. This is my opinion. I just think it's a massive task to get the Champions League again with the squad that we've got, because we criticise so many players that's in our squad that aren't quite good enough, but to do it I think that season was remarkable. We all knew that. Everything went through a season where we never had any injuries, and again, our squad, we are 3 or 4 injuries away from another poor season, and that's the squad we've got, unfortunately. And we need to be in a situation where if we do lose 2 or 3 players, we'll still have a massive squad depth where it doesn't affect us in such a way. And we'll have to get rid of quite a few players to get to a level where we are squad, like really have a strong squad base. And to me, again, it's a gamble just to say, yeah, we're just going to finish there. In my opinion, it's not just going to be there for us. I just think it's going to be tough.
I honestly think it's how we start. If we win the first 5 games in a row, which I think we could do, 15 points after 5
there is
games,
no way
we could pull out. Why not?
No way.
Who's going to beat us?
Do you know why? Because the Premiership, mate,
domestic,
and it's tough. It's really tough, and anybody can beat anybody on the day, right? Great example. Aston Villa is just what we spoke about earlier on. Could have beat anybody in Europe. At the time, they were flying, right? We absolutely took them apart first game of the season. When they were flying, we went to Villa Park and absolutely took them apart, right? And their home form after that was never the same, but they still were consistently good after that.
I agree. But our first 5 games: Southampton at home, Bournemouth away, Forest away, which is Carabao Cup. We've got Tottenham at home, Wolves away, Fulham away. We can win those games. We can win all 5 of those games.
Right, wait to get to mine. Mine's changed.
No,
only because the window's changed.
Okay.
And I know you got a drop, mate. Don't worry else. I can't decide. I'll be honest with you. Cheers, Ozzy. Cheers, mate. You go ahead,
mate. Go to Vegas.
Nice one, Oz.
I'm not as confident on City winning the league at the moment.
Oh, you bloody bird.
No. Let me explain. Ask me again in 2 weeks, and I'll be very different.
That's
right
why I said now.
If the window closes, see, I'm doing this as now. Yeah. The window closes right now with the Oscar Bob injury and Alvarez gone. I look at our bench and I'm sat there and I'm going, who the hell do we bring on to do anything in a change?
Mm-hmm.
And I know everyone's going to tell me, McAtee and all these are kids who have got one hell of a prospect. But my whole point is, last season, I got told by a lot of fans, Kovacic and Nunes were not the answer. Now they're the answer this season.
Do you not think if you lose Holland, you'll fall into the old Barcelona style of playing and play a false nine?
No,
and
I
play
do.
Foden?
It's my midfield where I worry
Okay.
right now. And not only that,
Rodri and Haaland, isn't it? Rodri and Haaland are the
we
two.
have
that
no
go
right
down.
now. We went into the window. The idea was Rodri and KDB were going to play less games. Am I right or am I wrong, Pat? That's what we all said we're going.
Yeah. You
Right
can't,
now,
you
we
can't
cannot do that.
minutes for that many years. You can't.
Yeah, right now we can't do that because I sat there last night and I put the full 11 down and I put my bench down and I went, "Who the hell am I bringing off?" We're back to 3 wingers: Jack Grealish, Docker, and Sabio. 2 of them are generally going to play. I've still got Walker as my right back, who's 34. I've got to play Foden and KDB. And nothing, if I'm straight with you right now, this is what I'm saying, as of right now.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks' time, because if you're going to ask me, do I think City will do business? I think City will buy 2 players. Totally change. I think we'll win the league. I think we need options. We have no options anywhere for any contingency plan. And that's where I'm worried about. Because 1 injury to Rodri and 1 injury to KDB, we're done. We are finished.
What about an injury to Haaland?
Haaland, I think we can get away with it a bit more because we have got the false 9 option we can drop to with Sabio, even an Oscar Bob. Even a Doku, potentially.
But will they bring you the goal ratio at Haaland? Well, no, definitely not.
I don't think anyone ever brings you the goal ratio Haaland will.
Yeah, so you'll be struggling. That's why I based my.
I think we change our style at that point.
But also, Ian, before we had Haaland, when we used to play under the false 9, we used to, team-wise, we'd score as many goals as we did under Haaland. It would just be more evenly distributed amongst a lot of players.
Yeah, but you would still have a Aguero that would score 20-odd goals a season.
No, I understood that, but I just think falling back into the false 9 system, it would just be more evenly distributed. Well, the only thing I say to that, the only weakness I have, and I agree with you in a way, is because the main key for our false 9 formation for those couple of seasons coming out of COVID, why we were so good, was Ilkay Gundogan. He's not there anymore. And what made him so good was his arrival in the box, especially in the final third. In attack, it was absolutely sensational. What players we currently have that we're going to be offered the same thing Gundogan has, I have no idea. Yeah. But in a way, that's the genius of Pep. He'll probably find a way. And from what we've watched over the last, Martin and I have watched over the last season or 2, or definitely last season, is Rodri is playing a lot more advanced role than he was as a previous 6. You know, you look at his heat maps from the last season to this season, and he is playing a lot more advanced. And I would not be surprised if we're able to, find other ways to bring in another number 6 or alternative versions of playing a number 6. Whether it's double pivot or not, I think there might be an opportunity there for Rodri to actually play a bit more advanced as well. Yeah. Again, pressure on him too, because we're a little bit concerned about the minutes and the game time. And the last thing you want is the best midfielder in the world having a burnout, and that's exactly what we don't have. So I get what you're saying. There are question marks, but I think that would be the fallback, and I think it would work in an effect. Whether it's enough to get us through to a league title, if Haaland's out long term, remains to be seen.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, by the way, people confused. When I say finish, I think City are 100% going to finish in the top 2 or 3 this season, 1,000%. I'm saying right now, because I just looked at the squad, we have 20 players in our squad. I've not included Carson because Carson's not going to play. Calvin Phillips is gone. Cancelo is going. Oscar Bob, I know there's this belief he's back by November. We have no idea when he's back. It depends how his operation goes.
I don't think we'll see him till Christmas, man.
That is best case scenario right now. What I'm saying is, when I look at our squad, is we have Erling Haaland, Bernardo, Rodri, Sabio, Nunes, Mac. If you look at our 11 right now, you're looking at Edison, Walker potentially, or Akanji. You're looking at Ruben Diaz, Gavardio, or John Stones, and Ake. In your midfield, you're looking at Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, Grealish, and then Rodri. Yeah? Or Bernardo on the other side with Erling Haaland. This is your bench at the moment. Savio, Nunes, McAtee, Kovacic, Doku, and I've got O'Reilly and Ake or the other one in. That is with no injuries. There is no way we are going with no injuries right now. This is what I'm saying for right now. I don't think City are stupid. They know they are thin on the ground. We're used to a thin squad, but if we don't buy anyone, we have to sacrifice somewhere, whether it be a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup. We can't play this game of Rodri 70 games. We can't do this Rodri 70 games, and then suddenly, because of where we're at, we've got to go Rodri 70 games. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah, big difference between a thin squad and a skeleton squad, and I feel like we're halfway between one or the other.
I don't think it's fair to put the pressure on the kids like we're doing. That's not fair. To put the pressure onto a McAtee and an O'Reilly. That's not fair. So that's all I'm saying right now. In 2 weeks, if you said to me in 2 weeks, do I think we'll win the league? Yes, because I think we make 2 signings. But I can't. I'm doing it. I'm following my own rule of just right now.
With the youngsters, though, if they're good enough, they're old enough. Isn't that the same? Wayne Rooney, get him in. He's old. He's good enough.
No,
he's old enough.
There's a massive difference, Baz, between O'Reilly, who's played in front of 200 people, then going to 80,000 people in the Bernabeu.
Yeah, but loads of young kids have had to do it.
Not at the City level.
If they're good enough, they're old enough.
I think you can do that with 1 or 2. We're at 3 and 4 at the minute.
Right.
I think that's the difference. Now, I hope I'm wrong, but I know for a fact City are looking and they're having meetings. If City thought they were fine, they wouldn't be looking. City know they're thin, and they know.
Do you think they're struggling to sign players because the Pep situation's still not resolved? Is it?
No, I just think it's because
this is his last season, isn't it? So are they struggling to get players to commit because of it? But you're saying he's going to resign, but he's not indicated he is going to resign.
He has to the club. Within the club, he has.
Interesting.
He just has. City are playing this game this summer, Baz, where they're not releasing anything to the media. It's why you're not seeing a lot of links to players. We've gone very not against the media, but you got to imagine when you've had the shit we've had for 3 years, the club ain't going to give the media a bite anymore. You can't sit and slag this football club off for 2 and 3 years and then think you're getting a favour.
I expect them to be fed by the same
we're not
hand that you're bitten, basically.
And not only that, what happened the other day, City had a thing last year, as you know, we went after we made a public bid for Declan Rice. And we got no. Bellingham, we spent all summer on the Bellingham stuff. It was very public. Got no. You've just seen it with Liverpool, where Liverpool fans were dancing in the streets of Liverpool thinking Gubba Mendy was coming. They were doing silly songs. And they've made themselves look like egg on the face. City don't want to play that game.
No.
I've always said if City do a deal, you'll wake up one morning and bang. Done.
It's a shame.
That's how it should be.
Yeah. That's how City
you will though. Man City will, man. There's no way.
No, I know they will. I'm following my own rule down right now.
And let's be honest, this summer transfer window would have been completely different had Paqueta not been caught up in all these gambling charges too, because he'd already be through the door now at City.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like for me, I think there's only 2 vulnerable areas really in City, and they're not even vulnerable because Rodri and Haaland don't get injuries. You're fine, but they are the only 2 positions for me. I don't know that Kovacic and Nunez are good enough. There's a huge drop off. There's going to be a drop off from Rodri anyway. Do you know what I mean? He's ridiculous. He's world class, right? Haaland likewise. But I felt with Alvarez, you were always going to be able to go, yeah, do you know what? You miss Haaland, but the drop off isn't mad, and he's going to score goals. I don't know who that guy is. But when it comes to Rodri, we saw last season he was out for 3 games and he didn't win any of them. So he's so vital and pivotal to what Manchester City do. I don't know who that guy is. I think with Manchester City, you know, I always laughed that Tottenham couldn't get a Harry Kane replacement in for a long time, but I can kind of understand why, because you look at it and you go, right, where am I playing? You're not. You're on the bench unless Kane gets injured. Oh, right, I'm not going to come then. Man City are kind of in that situation with Rodri and Haaland. Now, I know that you're going to come to City to win trophies, but you've got to find someone who's happy to sit on the bench and know, I ain't going to get in front of Rodri. I ain't going to get in front of Haaland. So I'll sit here until one of them decides they need a rest or going to get injured. And not many players want to do that nowadays. They all want to play. So that's going to be hard for Manchester City. As you have been, you've tried with Calvin Phillips, you've tried with Kovacic, you've tried with Nunez. And up top, you've tried Gabriel Jesus, said, no, I want off. I want to play first-team football. And now Alvarez has done the same. So for me, it is going to be very hard, to be honest. I don't know about this Mobama guy from West Ham. I imagine that's just a squad player for me. He's just a kid. But
The plan I've heard is he's going into the EDS.
Well, big up to Lawless, man, because I literally just texted him a minute ago. Big up to Lawless. Make sure you go follow Lawless at Lawless Live.
Yeah, big up Lawless. And like I said, he's not even played a league game for West Ham. So this thing has probably become back up to Alvarez is silly. It's an EDS. I said in the summer, City were putting a lot of money into the EDS, hence why. And
19 though, it's a lot of money for a 19-year-old.
No, but we just made money off Ndala, and Ndala's due to go out, and he was the next one through as well. And they just sold. Oh, it was the other one they sold. Darlan was somebody else the other day.
Sissoko went on loan.
Sissoko's gone on.
Hamilton's permanent to Middlesbrough. Alex Robertson's been sold permanent to Cardiff, and Callum Dawes on loan at Norwich.
This is the thing, like Julie said. It's not. I'm saying we're not good enough. It's that squad is thin for any injury. And we're down. That's my worry. And do you have going injury free?
Do you have the money, Martin? I genuinely don't know. Do you have the money to go and get Bruno and Ivan Toney, let's say, whether you want them or not? I'm just picking two players that I think
we've made nearly 200 million this summer, and we've not even bought.
So you would be able to do that then. So that's what I think you'll go and do, man.
We could quite easily do it. The trouble is why I don't think a Tony happens is because you're in the same problem with Alvarez. How do you sell Tony as a backup when Alvarez wasn't happy as a backup?
Yeah,
Alvarez
you're right.
3,000 minutes.
Names,
but the issue with Alvarez wasn't the minutes; it was where he played. When you know as a player in your own mind and backup, it's a very hard sell to get that out of their mind. Because like I used the example, Mahrez scored an hat-trick in the FA Cup semi-final and then got dropped. So in Mahrez's head, he's like, no matter what I do, I'm on the B team. It's like when you were at school and you knew you were always going to be last choice. And you just lost all heart then. Didn't matter what you did. And it was, that's just the way it is. And that's why I don't believe in this 2 world class for every position. I think it's BS. Jesus, Zinchenko, Alvarez, it's happened 1,000. How many times does it have to happen for fans to realise it doesn't work?
Yeah.
You weren't the last choice at school, were you, Martin?
No. No.
I was worried we brought up some bad childhood memories or something. Yeah, my bad.
No,
sorry.
I'll be honest with you, it was worse than me. I was the ref.
You gave yourself a red card.
That's why Baz didn't invite me up to his charity game.
In summary, I would say I think Man City will buy a midfielder, as in a defensive-minded midfielder and a striker. I really do, or an attacker. I think they're the last two you'll go and get. I don't think you'll get much more than that, but I think you'll get them too, definitely. Unless someone leaves, of course.
Yeah, after our show last night, Martin, I've had a good think about it. I'm leaning more towards the idea of the whole, and Baz and Ian are going to breathe a sigh of relief for this. I think the ship has almost sailed in terms of trying to get Bruno, and I just think with Oscar Bob's injury and just realizing how close we are to a skeleton squad. I'm looking at there's a possibility of getting Eze and Wharton through from Crystal Palace, because I just look at the idea of just two players that I think are a bit more long term, and you're only paying a fraction more than what you would have paid for one player in the form of Bruno.
So will Palace have any players left then?
Yeah,
that's a question we ask, because that's been the
ripping Palace apart.
I'm not going to make. I'm not. Listen, I said what I got told about Bruno last night, and I know Baz didn't. But Baz will shoot me down and all thing. But what I did say was, City have been spoken to his agent and they've said they'll double his wages. But Bruno has to push more. Whether that now happens, but The exact word I got.
The weird situation
ball
we're
is
in now, though,
Bruno's
there's
camp.
no release clause. So
Yeah,
when
the ball is in
people
Bruno's
knocking on
camp.
the door, you're going to have to stump up 100, 105, 110, 115, 120 million because the club will ask for whatever they want. And then you're going to have to. It's a bit like what we're doing with the gear situation right now. We're having to stump up what Palace are telling us to pay for their
But
player.
in all fairness, he's because your fans saying Gay's not worth 60, 65 mil. Why is Bruno worth more than Declan Rice then?
He's not.
Because he's worth that to you the same way.
Exactly.
But your fans are all moaning at Palace saying, greedy boys, get him out. So which way is it working for you, Bab?
I mean, is Gear worth 65 million? I don't think he is.
I don't think
I don't think any centre back's worth that kind of money. But I don't think Bruno's worth. I don't think any player should be worth 100 million, 105, 110, 120.
A player's worth whatever it is to that club.
Yes, exactly.
That's the difference.
Yeah. I still think
Bruno's irreplaceable because if you look at us last season, when Bruno doesn't play, we don't win football matches. Just like you with Rodri. That's why
I don't think Bruno happens. I personally think we'll move to Adam Wharton. Whether then that can get sorted out, I don't know.
Has he got a release clause? That's the thing to look at.
For some reason, every Palace player has a bloody release clause this summer.
Apart from Gear.
You know what the release clause is for Wharton?
52 plus 8, I think I've been told.
Gear doesn't have one though.
They are apparently they're trying to sign him up on a bigger release clause and a new deal. You know, as a lot of clubs do. As soon as a release clause, we're doing it with Highland. We're trying to sign him up with a bigger release clause.
Right.
So no wonder Parish is coming out and trying to make statements because he's absolutely sitting there shitting his pants because
everyone's going to be sold.
You can see all these players that. Don't get me wrong. I think Palace is. They've got quite a good recruitment going on there, but if they're going to potentially lose, like you said, 2 players there to yourselves, and then Gay to us, and then Anderson to Fulham. I mean, that's kind of, and they've obviously lost Elise as well, so that's the spine of their team ripped apart. I know they'll have quite a bit of money to spend, but time's running out, and they won't just be able to bring anybody whoever they want in. So as long as we act fast within the next 48 hours, I'm hoping to get him done. I couldn't give a monkey's what goes on.
Well, to top it off for you, my top 4 was City. Right now, I'm split between. I'm going Arsenal, City, but I will swap them in 2 weeks because I've just told you I think we'll sign Liverpool. And I felt dirty there saying this, but I did say this on Basil's channel. I do think United will squeak him. I don't know why. I just think they're going to squeak.
Do you think they've done good business?
The only reason they will is if Ten Hag goes quickly.
That's what I think will happen. I don't think Ten Hag sees Christmas.
Because the only reason I didn't put him was because of him. But if they get rid of him, I mean, Van Nistelrooy is going to be the next Man United manager. That's quite clear to see, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? They're bringing him in there so he can take over from Ten Hag when he's no good. And I tell you, Man United, I don't think they're ready yet, but I think they will be back in the next couple of seasons with the footballing men they've got behind the scenes. I really do. So, I don't know, but I just don't think, I think it's be too soon now, man. I think it'd be too soon now. But yeah, I don't think it's a wild shout out, Martin, to be fair. Because Man United, if they keep their players fit, like Newcastle, they've actually got an all right 11. It's just
the thing is that how much money have United got to spend before they turn into Chelsea version 2?
Well, this is it.
They've spent a pretty penny this summer, and for some weird reason, it's so gone on the radar of everyone in world football. It's madness. They spent 60 million on an unknown kid who had a year left, but they wanted to do it. They've spent 30 million on a striker who United fans haven't even seen yet for some weird reason. They've bought they want to do I do think Mazraoui is actually quite a shrewd signing at right back. I do think that's quite a shrewd one. How they pulled that one out. It has to be on Ten Hag's gone by Christmas. If he's not and they stick with him, then I think they're up shit street. But
I'm with you, man.
We'll see. That, like I said, we will come back to look at these. 5th, 6th, who have you got in your European places, Pat?
The remaining European places?
Yeah, I'm doing it up to 5th and 6th. I'm not doing this 7th on the bloody coefficient.
Yeah.
Because all 4 of our clubs ain't getting in the finals.
5th and 6th, I'm going to say Liverpool and United.
Ooh, no Chelsea.
No. Chelsea don't even know what they are.
Exactly.
Send all comments to Pat at Sydney Supporters Branch, please, everyone. Pat, no, I've done Pat. Baz, 6 for you.
I went Spurs Villa and then Man United Chelsea. 7th and 8th, just to give you an idea.
Dan, where you at with 5th and 6th?
Villa in 5th and Spurs in 6th is what I've gone for.
Ooh. Ian?
Newcastle, Man United.
Above them again. That's all that matters.
Yeah, just
I did have a shock on Baz's channel, but I've had to change it because they're selling every frigging player. I think Brighton are going to make one of the top 6.
They do look good, to be fair.
Because I think Brighton have done some very shrewd business, and again, they've gone very under the radar.
Is this manager decent? I don't know anything about him.
I don't.
That's what we said about every single Brighton manager, and look what's happened.
Yeah.
Did you know who Glasner was before he went into Palace? Because I didn't have a clue. Maybe that's great.
I knew. The only reason I knew Glasner was because of he won at Frankfurt the Europa League, but I didn't really know. I don't know who this guy is, but Brighton seem to always do well. I've actually not got them doing very well this year, Brighton, but I'm only saying that because it's the unknown. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I knew what we were going to get with Potter and De Zerbi because you knew a little bit about what they were coming from, but I don't know anything about this manager. I like the business, some of the business they've done. They've pulled one out the bag today as well, haven't they? Rutter, they've got from Leeds, I think. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see what we get from Brighton. But,
as soon as he got the job, I tweeted out.
Sorry, Baz, quickly. I was going to say there's always at least 1 or 2 clubs in the league where they get like a new manager or a new batch of signings in, and they just become like an unknown commodity sort of team where you don't know what you're going to get out of them. As I said, they could knock on the door of Europe or they could end up in 18th place. You just don't really know what you're going to get. Or one week they could beat City 1-0 away, but then the next week they lose 6-0 to Southampton or something. So there's always these unpredictable teams, and I think Brighton may fit at that category as well. As said, Palace under Glasgow, even though they're possibly losing all their players, we don't know. Because for all we know, even though Palace might lose their players, they were one of the most informed teams for the last, say, quarter of the season.
Yeah.
So you never know. You never know.
Sorry, I missed something. Kay, thank you for renewing your membership for a 6-month. You are amazing. Thank you so much.
More than you believe. More than you believe I have you.
I'm loving that.
So very quickly on Brighton, they lost Pascal Gross, who was a big player for them. That is going to have an effect on Brighton. He is an unsung hero in my eyes in the Premier League. Brighton fans obviously love him, and I think he was quality. And the other thing, as soon as the Brighton manager got the job, it's just congratulating them from getting the Chelsea job in 12 months' time. You know what's going to happen.
Rich thinks we'll go false signing file and get injuries. Okay. No, I agree with that. I think we will. Steve says he sees them struggling. Anyone got West Ham?
Where did I put West Ham?
Where does anyone got? Because I'm really intrigued on the West Ham because I've got them in
9th, but I might squeeze them up a bit if they continue. They've had a brilliant window, man. I can't lie. Their first
again, are they going to gel? Are they going to be the unknown commodity, or are they going to finish mid-table because they haven't gelled? And
boring manager. You saw what he did at Wolves when he came in and replaced, was it Espirito Santo? He just had them playing really boring football, and then it wasn't until
they're used to that, aren't they?
When Gary O'Neill came in, they started playing fantastic football. Yeah. Wolves last season were in my predictions to go down, and they ended up being one of the most consistent teams for quality of squad, one of the most consistent teams in the Premier League. So with Lopetegui, you see what he did at Wolves. You know, when he moved from Sevilla, who were one of the most out of form teams at the start of our treble season. You know, you saw we battered him 4-0. He barely got out of first gear in the Champions League. Lopetegui, I don't really know what to make of him. He's almost like a slightly more boring sort of Pellegrini in a way, for lack of a better comparison. But Lopetegui, I don't know, but you're right though, Baz. They have made some good signings, and I don't know if Martin, you had this as one of your questions, predictions. But I was going to say, I thought with West Ham, even though as again I'm not sure what to expect with Lopetegui, but they signed Nicholas Füllkrug from Dortmund.
Yeah.
I've got him as one of the underrated signings of the season. I think he could do really, really well.
No, I've got West Ham winning, which you'll know in a minute. I've got West Ham winning one of the cups.
Yeah,
Okay.
and when Dortmund came to ours last year in the Champions League, they were absolutely brilliant, mind. And Füllkrug got took off in 60 minutes because he couldn't. The pace was too quick for him. And I mean, if you look after the remainder of the season, what he had, even at international level.
Yeah.
When he was a signing for them, I was thinking, whoa, what a signing he's going to be. I think he's like a real old-fashioned centre half, and there's not many of them centre forwards. Sorry, that meant that there's not many of them about now.
Yeah.
And I think you'll do really well, and I think the Premiership will suit him. I really do. Yeah. And I think you'll hit the ground running. I really do.
It's funny you say that because in a similar vein as well too, another player that came to the Premier League from Dortmund, and I was going to say would be worth monitoring. I probably got him down for sort of the Golden Boy Award because I think he's under 23, and that would be Ian Maatsen, who played at right back for Dortmund and went to Villa. I think he could do a lot of good things under Unai Emery as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be curious to see how he goes because, especially if he plays a bit of link up with, say, like a Leon Bailey or something, I think they could absolutely tear apart down that right hand side.
That's pace down that right hand side. Real pace.
Yeah.
Right, just folks. I know Dan has to jump in a minute, and so anyone else has to. I know these can go on a little bit, and I do appreciate everyone's patience and time this evening. Dan, who have you got as your relegation 3?
Relegation. I've got Leicester because I feel like they're going to get points deducted, and I don't know that Steve Cooper can get enough out of them personally. So I feel like they're going to go down. I've gone for Southampton as well. I really thought Leeds were coming up instead of them, but I just don't think they've got enough. And then this is one I've been toying with. I've got a little bit of biased here because I'm an Essex boy. Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love to be Spurs. But I'm an Essex boy, and over the border is Suffolk. So I'm going to put my faith in Kieran McKenna and Ipswich to get 17th, and I think Nottingham Forest might go down. So that's who I've gone for. I just don't look at Nuno and think, wow. Yeah, if I'm honest, I think Forest have been flirting with it. I don't know that Forest have got enough this season. Everton will do it with Sean Dyche, in my opinion. I don't think Gary O'Neill's bad enough for Wolves to go down, even though they've lost Pedro Neto. And I don't really know who else there is, if I'm honest with you, other than Ipswich or Forest. So that's what I've gone with, man. So, yeah, I've gone for Leicester, Southampton, and... Say again?
Arsenal to win a trophy?
Yes, I do, believe it or not. I've gone for FA Cup winners to be Arsenal because I feel like we have to take the domestic cup seriously. Mikel Arteta has to win something this year. There's no excuses. He's spent enough money. He's had enough time. We have to win silverware this year. It's just the way it is for me. So I think that we will win the FA Cup, and I think that Man City will win the League Cup again because they always do, and they ain't got a Super Cup this year. So
that's not true. They didn't win it last year.
Love a Carabao.
No, that's what I mean because they had the Super Cup last year. That's what I mean.
No. It's all right.
No. They got knocked out by us. That's the reason why they didn't win.
Beating our reserves. Let him dine out in it. Even
though they did. They lost. They did lose to Newcastle, didn't they?
Our reserves beat your reserves.
Remember the worst thing was that if we beat you guys, we would have to go to Old Trafford with our academy.
We beat their first team with our third team. It was great.
We've got a shiny gold badge in the middle of our shirt.
That went down well now, wasn't it? That little thing there, lads. That's went down great, that little defeat of yours. Now, come on, let's get back to reality. It's a one-off, however.
Yeah. You got a little bit arrogant, and then we came up for the league game and we beat you.
Yeah,
just.
Come on.
Well, look at it this way, mate. It was cheaper for me to go to Saudi Arabia for a weekend than it was to go to London in January. So I'll take the rough with the smooth.
Whoa, Winston's got Ipswich won't get more than 10 points.
That's harsh. That's harsh, man.
That'll be 2.0.
Dan, thank you for joining us, mate. I know you're going to shoot. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
Football
man. Big
Talk
up.
Man podcast. Get over there. You're all over there anyway.
Big
So
up,
get
man.
over
Nice to
there.
meet you, mate.
Cheers, Dan.
Great
Legend,
to meet you
mate.
boys as well, man. Absolute legends. Cheers, Martin. Thanks
Cheers,
for having me
bud.
on, man.
See you around.
Take care, guys.
Anytime,
See you later.
Right, relegation. Where you at, Pat?
Let's see. Yeah, I'll go. I'm pretty much in the same vein as Dan, and I don't know if you said the same thing, but I was Ipswich and Leicester, and I'm going to go a little bit of a shock here, but only because I have seen them. They have gradually declined over the last couple of years, and that is Brentford.
Wow.
I'm going to go
Did
Brentford. Yeah,
someone say Brentford on yours, Baz? Or am I dreaming that?
you look at their league position; they have slowly started to dip a little bit as time's gone on, and I don't know how much what their signings have been doing or how much they're reinventing themselves, but
Stevie, the West Ham fan, did.
I was going to say, I'm sure someone said Brentford.
Yeah,
I have
Stevie, the West-
remember.
Brentford do. Yeah,
I think it all depends if they lose Tony
yeah.
and Mbeumo. If they keep both of them, I think they'll be fine because they've got the firepower to stay up. So,
Yeah, even without Tony, when he had his gambling problems, I mean, they did a great job with him, Buemo, and is it Visser as well? He was really good too.
he's quick.
Yeah.
No, there's no space tonight. I need a night off. Who's your cup winner? FA Cup. Pat?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Dan. I think Arsenal. I think sooner or later they're gonna have to get over the line and get a trophy, regardless of whether it's chasing for leagues or top four. They're gonna have to go for a trophy. Otherwise, I think there's going to be a lot more pressure on Arteta.
It's a good shout, to be fair.
Yeah.
Baz, who have you got for yours? Who was your three again?
Relegation. So I went Leicester because points deduction, Southampton, and because everyone knows we hate them, Everton. I think they're declining. They're not signing anyone. I think Ipswich are going to have that feel-good factor of back-to-back promotions, and if they get off to a good start, I think they could be all right. I think Forest will just squeak.
I'm going to go on for you. So if you say that, if Everton go down, would you allow Everton to go down if it meant Sunderland came up?
Yeah, because we got a derby back.
So you want the derby back? Yeah, okay.
We'll beat them
easily because we'll beat 6 easy points in it.
So you want a chance of like kicking hell's bells out of them twice in the season? Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Who's your FA Cup?
I didn't think I was going to get asked that, to be fair, but FA Cup.
Throw one out at you. Just keep you on your toes.
Well, I had Chelsea to win it last season. I was absolutely devastated when they missed the chance to get to the final.
Chelsea.
Would have won me quite a
out.
lot of money. I had them at 9-1 to win it, with Real Madrid to win the Champions League at 8-1. Twats. I think FA Cup. Who's going to win the FA Cup? I've got us getting to the quarters, but we're not going to win it. I'm going to go Arsenal to win the FA Cup, Chelsea to win the Carabao Cup.
Why is everyone going for Arsenal to win the FA Cup?
Because they're not going to win the league.
True. Good point.
I'll tell you what, it'd be interesting to have a night out in Newcastle if you lot won one of the cups this season.
Oh, you wouldn't survive.
Ian, who's your three? And then I'm going to really throw the cat amongst the pigeons.
I just think Leicester, Southampton, and again, Everton for me. I think they've just scraped above that. I think it'll be between two. It'll be Everton, Nottingham Forest, in my opinion. It'll be between them. It'll be the other one. I think they've just scraped about there for the last couple of seasons, and I can't see them signing big players to progress them to get them up the pit. I think they're just going to be that team that's going to be down the bottom there. So that's the ones I think that'll go down.
And who's your cup winners?
Yeah, FA Cup, I'm going to go for Liverpool.
Not speaking to you anymore.
And the Carabao Cup, I'm going to go for Man City.
Yeah. So I didn't say that before, but I was going to say City for the Carabao.
Yeah, that's what I'll take. Why not Liverpool for the FA Cup?
Because I picked Arsenal.
I don't want them to win the bloody raffle. Never mind anything else. I've got Everton, Leicester, and then who was my third? I couldn't remember on my third one. The Leicester one is obvious because obviously I think we're all thinking on the same hymn sheet with these points deductions
Yeah.
somewhere. Everton when we won, and then who did I have, Baz?
Well, you're not gonna have Ipswich, man.
No, I've got Ipswich actually being about 10. I had Ipswich about 9 for 10. I think they'll have a great season.
Southampton, Leicester, Everton.
Thank you, Southampton. That it was. Yeah. And the FA Cup winners, you're not going to like this, but I think it will be. I think it'll be Newcastle, and I'm not just saying that. I think Newcastle will end their their cup drought, and I think that's why they won't make top 4
because of the cup. Maybe I'll take that any day of the week.
Because I think it'll become. Because for me, you're not going to like this. Eddie Howe would become more of a legend and would stay in his job more winning a cup than he would winning top 4.
Yeah,
because he's already done that.
Yeah. He'd have near immortality at your club if he brought a big trophy in for the first time in decades. Yeah, that's huge.
You have a statue. It's as simple as that. You get a statue. Saves us from relegation, from into the abyss of the championship.
He doesn't even have a statue outside Dean Court. He's like a Bournemouth lifer.
Give anyone a statue at Newcastle nowadays.
Oh.
I think
they give Peter Beardsley one, but they said come back when you had a facelift. No joke.
Man's been asking for a statue of Fellsgrove Town Hall.
I just think the Carabao Cup for Newcastle.
You haven't got enough metal to make one of me.
Honestly, I just think the Carabao Cup more realistic for Newcastle. Like the FA Cup's huge.
I don't think it is after that draw, getting Forest away.
No, but
that's the toughest draw we could have got in the Northern section.
I just think the FA Cup's just huge compared to that competition. A lot of clubs take it much more seriously than the other one. It's such a harder cup to win.
This is my thing. It all depends on the draw. So look at the draw, isn't it? At the end of the day,
right?
I'm with SOS on this League Cup. Listen, for me, it all depends what City do, because I think that's the League Cup for City is when you'll see McAtee and O'Reilly play.
But again, also, like I said at the top of the show, because there is every chance that those two Champions League fixtures that are played in January, they could be dead rubbers by the time, because the group stage could be wrapped up, man. I mean, what if we win the first 6 out of 8? It's safe to say we've wrapped up the group, unless they group us with like say like Barcelona or something. Let's say Barcelona win all their games, and then we're level pegging for first or second in the group. Then that might change things a little bit. But yeah, with that many group stage matches now, we're a possibility. We could even just win. We could win like say 4 of the first 5 or something like that. We could already be clear in the group. So. Again, this whole new format, we're walking into a dark room basically with it, so we don't know what's going to happen in terms of how quickly you can progress, plus how much dead rubber or rubber or dead rubber fixtures are actually going to affect other competitions. So we'll have to wait and see. I think the big question, of course, is if you're going to play these 2 group stage matches in January, what usually happens in January when you're in the Carabao? You've got to play the two-legged semi-final, one at home, one away. That's another big factor as well too. So we've got.
They're not talking about ditching that this year. The 2-legged semi-final. They're not talking about ditching it and changing it.
I thought they were keeping it. Because I know they made it only 1 leg during COVID, but they brought it back. They brought it back to two legs for semi-finals since we got clear of COVID. So I don't really know. I mean, that
we're talking about ditching it again.
They're talking about bringing in the the mic'd up refs. About bringing them into the cup competitions before they bring that into the refs, into the league games. Because have you read that today as well about the refs have now all got to write down who they support, and they're not allowed to now go into.
Well, they should have done that anyway. That was I thought that was
the
whole idea.
Should have been done 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, we already know Anthony Taylor's an Old Trafford fan, despite the fact all his family have season tickets at Old Trafford.
And just because they write it down doesn't mean it's true.
Oh, do you mean like Mike Dean told everyone he was a Tranmere supporter for absolutely 20 years?
Yeah.
Well, look who refereed the Carabao Cup against Man United. He's a Man United fan.
Yeah.
Well,
or I'll give you an example. Jared Gillett, the Aussie referee. You can find
not him.
No, you can find out he wrote down Newcastle, and then if he gives you a bad decision, you go, "No, sorry, mate, I meant Newcastle Jets in the A League."
No.
You know what?
Who's the guy at Altrincham? He says he's an Altrincham.
Anthony Taylor just said it.
Anthony Taylor, yeah. He's basically, his whole family are United season ticket holders. He's suddenly the only one out of the whole family who's got an Altrincham season ticket. It's like, no, you're not. You're just telling lies.
Hey, getting on about the referees mic'd up. Jared Gillett, if you watched his last performance over in Australia, he was actually mic'd up, and it was probably one of the best refereeing things I'd seen. And I thought, God, when he's come to the Premiership, I thought, what a referee he's going to be over here. And to be honest, I don't think he's lived up to what I thought, because some of his decisions have been a little bit rash to say, and his decision behind VAR has been a little bit poor as well. But but on that performance when he was mic'd up, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And I thought he was
a bit of a mixed bag since coming to the Premier League, but I think what gives him a pass mark is you can probably name at least 3 or 4 referees that are way more shocking than he is.
Oh, 1,000,000%. But if you if you get a chance to watch him when he's mic'd up and listen to that game when he's mic'd up, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I want to see him and Ange get into a tiff. So I think that'd be hilarious. They'll be on highlight reels back in Australia for generations.
Yeah. Right. That's it on the old predictions. So I'm going to save them.
But what about flop of the season? Like, as in flop player of the season. Who do you think's going to flop?
Oh, that's hard. That's a hard question. God.
It's a hard one. There's that many signings.
Solanke's
going to flop for sure.
I want to see everybody's flops. Players, that is.
Hold on.
It's not a phonage.
Oh, he's disappeared.
He's flopped.
He's flopped.
You want to show DC your flop? DC should talk about Pat's flop. Anyway.
Because I was going to say, because my flop of the season was going to say was Matthias de Ligt.
Mm-hmm. That other one.
A player like that is hot between so many clubs, and yet somehow, Brian get 50 million for a player who couldn't even get ahead of Eric Dyer at Bayern Munich. Like that says a lot to me.
YOLO, what's he called? Euro or whatever he's called.
Lenny Yoro or something.
Yeah, him. He's crap.
I'm going with Xerxes. I'm having that one, Xerxes.
Fair enough, yeah.
Because you've not even seen him in pre-season, never mind anyone else.
I'll go James Maddison again.
Are we talking about players who've just signed, or we're talking about anyone?
I just think I'll go Maddison again, mate.
Right,
as he always does.
No, behave decent. No, I'm only joking. Do you know, you're not going to like this, but I did have someone who I think may struggle.
Go on. Newcastle player, obviously.
Well, yeah, it is, but you're going to. I can see Tonali struggling.
Well, I think after a year of being bad, I think he's going to be hungry.
I don't think it's because he's a bad player. I think it's going to take him 6 months to get properly back to speed. You can't go a year with no football and then just roll back in.
Yeah, but has he really gone a year with no football, though, really? I mean, competitive, yes, but I reckon he'd be chomping at the bit, mate. Like, I really do.
Ivan Toney did it, man.
He had 6 months with no football, and he wasn't allowed to train either, was he?
Mendy to flop at least. That's a dash.
But for me, with Tonali, his debut was the best home debut I've seen in a black and white shirt. Absolutely unbelievable. Brilliant.
Mikel Mourinho.
Has he actually got another fraud? Wow. All right, I'll let you. Doku's no fraud.
God. I'll tell you about the fraud. I know, different show for that. You know what I'm on about, Baz. I'll not go.
Mikel Moreno. He's not even signed yet. Let him sign Dash before we even get into
He won't flop at all. Mikel Moreno's a quality player.
At all.
In that case, Isco will flop.
God, that kid. Mikel Moreno, what a sign. He was for us brilliant.
Yeah, we should.
I would have him
Mike Ashley era ruined him for us.
I would have him back in a heartbeat, Baz.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I would.
brilliant player.
What was I remember seeing at the start of the summer window too, Bazanian, that you guys looked like you were linked a little bit to Ferran Torres.
You were?
What happened with that? There was a few rumors going with that. I thought that would have been a decent addition for you guys. One, because I think he would have suited well under Eddie Howe, but number two, what finally would have meant we would have got the remaining bloody cash from his sale from we sold in the
I don't know where you got this from. We need to stop this as a fan base. New Barcelona are paying the money across the length of the contract.
I understand that, but then we'll get all that money now rather than waiting for another 2 or 3 years.
No, you won't. Don't work that way. Doesn't. It still goes on the length.
I don't care. I want that net spend trophy.
It's all about the girth, not the length, though, isn't it? But no, our right winger search has been very frustrating because we've been linked with everyone on the right wing, and nobody really knows who we're signing there until we get the centre back situation sorted. We're not going to sign a right winger, are we?
No.
But there could be a deal to be done with Barcelona because they can't register their new players.
Yeah,
but it's pretty.
So it would have been a good shout for you guys too.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Pretty obvious that we are active in for a right winger because we're looking to offload Miggy. So
he's not gone now, which makes it even more difficult because of PSR.
But this is what people don't understand, that the wages that our players are on for the transfer fee that they're going for, it's so difficult to offload the players.
Yeah,
and that's the thing where players are valued at 55 million, but they're on 150 grand wages.
Yeah.
You're still getting a hefty transfer fee, and you don't mind paying the wages. But when you're paying 8 million, was it £8 million, 7.5 million? I think they quoted Baz, wasn't it? Plus add-ons, but Miggy's on a hell of a lot of wages, what they can't afford to do. So it was always going to collapse.
So what happened was, I think the fee that we were going to agree on was between 12 and 15 million. But then Miggy's wages and his agent's fee were that high. The team, Charlotte FC, agreed the deal with Miggy for his wages and the agent's fees, but then said to Newcastle, well, we can only pay you 8.5 million now, not 12 million, because of their demands. So we've agreed that with them, do you want to agree this fee? And then we said, well, no, it's too low.
It was the same thing with us with being linked to Kimmich as well too, because we would have been able to afford the transfer fee, but then the big question becomes: do you want to fork out the equivalent of €375,000 per week? That's just absolute. That's an absolute albatross of a contract. That one.
It is. It's frustrating because like I said, we've got owners who want to put so much money into the club and they're not allowed.
We've got the same problem with Cancelo as well too. Yeah. If we hadn't signed that extension back in January 2022, he would have been out the door last. He would have been out the door last summer. Never mind this summer. But it's the 250K per week wages he's on at the moment. We just can't get him out the door.
Yeah. So you've got a player going to his end of his career as such was Bernardo Silva, and he was rumoured to go out your club right now. What transfer fee was he going to go to?
Well, that was negotiated with Bernardo and his agent because we agreed when he re-signed his contract back last summer. They agreed that it was going to be a £50 million release clause that was going to come into effect this summer, but which is well under his value because never mind if you're a City fan or not, really, you look at the quality of that player should be going for 70, maybe even 80 million quid. So we sort of allowed a fee that would still be a good return for us, but at the same time would still be a good value for, say, like a Spanish club or a Portuguese club because he's been saying for seasons he wants to get closer to home. But I think it's really smart business from City because they're basically tempted, say, like your Barcelona's, for example, and said, right, if you can get all your ducks in an order financially and sort yourselves out, then you can afford him, which is going to be difficult anyway. It was always going to be a test for them. But the other thing we made really difficult for them as well, too, was we said, all right, 50 million, but it's got to be in one payment.
Yeah.
Is what made it most
and that's difficult. What we're having problems with Gear with is because Palace wanted it all up front. And we want to try and, pay so much up front and then so much in add-ons. And this is where it's trying to get that balance, isn't it? The problem is the Southern club's got all the cards at the moment because he's got 2 years left on his contract.
Same story with when we got Gvardiol last summer too, because originally Leipzig wanted more than what United paid for Harry Maguire, but we adamantly said we don't want to do that because we don't want to we don't want to break that record. We ended up paying slightly less, but we ended up only paying him in two installments rather than say 3 or 4. So that's what got it through the door. So I can see why you're having the same issue with Gay.
Paqueta can't play because he's under investigation. He's been given by West Ham. No, he can, but if he moves and then gets done, City aren't going to. No one's going to spend that money.
No one's going to spend the money.
Riley's at West Ham, he can, but no one's going to buy him while this is under investigation.
No, of course they're not.
And if they do, you're shelling out 80 million, and he potentially could get banned.
Yeah, I was going to say it was 85 million, Martin, wasn't it, for Paqueta? 85?
85, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
We don't need Cancelo. I don't know where that link's come from.
It's trust me, you don't. He's a diva in the clubhouse.
We don't need to fill that position anyway. We need a right centre back.
He attacked Guardiola because Rico Lewis got ahead of him. Yeah, there's a reason why. If you look at his history, he's never been at a European club for more than 2 or 3 seasons.
All I'm going to say is, right now, I'm saying Arsenal in the league. In 2 weeks' time, I will 1,000% change it to Manchester City will win the league.
You're not allowed to change it. You locked your teams in now.
No, I said at the very beginning, 2 weeks. But in 2 weeks' time, I promise you, City will be favourites.
So are we doing this again to then reevaluate what we've done so we can also change our teams as well?
You can't. No, I've said it, and I said last night, I don't think Bruno happens. I don't think you will want the money we want to pay. But I do know City are moving quite well.
Is that the missus saying you've been a bit loud?
No, that was Bruno saying the door. No, that was Bruno saying the door shut on the deal.
Yeah, that was Bruno going, piss off.
Yep, done.
I'm saying. I'll come in 12 months. I'll come in 12 months when I've lost. When I've got
Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not fucking leaving.
So I'm gonna have to leave before I get wrong even more.
No, we're going to end it there anyway. Baz, Ian, thank you for joining us, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Always welcome. You can catch these over on 3 Black and White Eyes. I am on there sometimes on the prediction show and everything else. There's not a lot of transfer news. People are asking. Yes, we have signed the lad from West Ham. He will go to EDS. There's no other news. City are working in the shadows. That's all I know at the moment. We're literally Batman, working in a shadow and not moving. Trying to get news out of City at the minute is like trying to get frigging. It's mad. But, yeah. We'll wait and see. But all of work. The only thing, I did get an update. The Cancelo he was house hunting in England, not abroad.
Ooh, interesting. But he ain't coming to Newcastle.
No, he ain't going to
for sure.
Think more southern. Who, I don't know. But it was
probably Spurs or Chelsea.
Chelsea really wouldn't surprise me because it's a Chelsea deal that all over.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Spurs
James is knackered.
Spurs wouldn't fork out the 250k because it took Harry Kane, I think, about 5 or 6 years to get to that salary.
Yeah, it's mad. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. If it's not live, it'll be recorded. I need to speak to Pat. We're going to do a Chelsea preview. And then we'll be back Sunday for the post-match. They've got Southampton on Saturday. Saturday you kick off?
Saturday, yeah, 3 p.m.
Come on, Saints. Oh, when they're Saints. No, Newcastle get off, and I think City will get a win as well.
Yeah.
I
think you'll batter them, but I'll be interested to see how Taylor Howard-Bellis goes starting for Southampton.
I told you we're going to win our first 5 games.
Even Ian's looking at you weird.
If I can get odds on it now, I'd even put money on it. We're going to win our first 5 games.
Fingers crossed. I don't think so.
But yeah, we'll be back at some point tomorrow.
Yeah, Champions October.
They got obviously 3 Black and White Eyes, and as well get over to Football 12-Man Podcast. A lot of love over to them. And we'll see you all on the next one. Take care. Bye all.